Let's dive deep into the science behind the numbers. Here with us now on the final word is Romulo Virola, former head of the National Statistical Coordination Board. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Virola. In your Facebook page, you say that Lenny could win if the flaws of the Pulse Asia survey were rectified, because all surveys are showing that Bongbong Marcos would be elected president if elections were held today. So share with us, what are these flaws?
Okay, there were three main items that I discovered with the Pulse Asia survey. One, in their sample, 92% of the respondents belonged to the D and E socio-economic classes. But if we consider another socio-economic classification system, I found out that only 47% of Filipino households belong to the D and E classes. This socio-economic classification system is called the 1SEC 2017. It was the result of a project funded by World Bank and done by a UP associate professor of the School of Statistics.
So, Mr. Virola, why is there an underrepresentation of the other groups? Because when I asked Ana Tabunda and Ronnie Holmes in previous interviews, I asked them specifically why the AB markets were not included in their surveys. They said it was difficult to get into these gated communities and they would need permits to talk to various residents in these communities.
Yes, that's right. That problem is, however, faced by almost all pollsters. The richer members of society are more difficult to interview. However, the 92% D and E, well, it was not intentional on the part of the Pulse Asia. Their survey design allows them only to choose the respondents by region, not by any other classification system, only by region. And we call the regions as the domains of the survey. So they are allowed to release estimates only at the regional level. They are not supposed to release estimates by age, by socioeconomic classification system, by educational attainment, because that's not part of the design. So it's not intentional on the part of Pulse Asia not to cover the A and B classification.
But is there also an underrepresentation, Mr. Viloria, of the young voters in the Pulse Asia sample of respondents?
Yes. In the Pulse Asia sample of respondents, only 47% belong to the 18 to 41 years category. 18 to 41 comprised only 47% of the sample.
So, Mr. Viloria, how can this whole lead of Bongbong Marcos in the surveys be turned around? What should be the sampling of the respondents?
That's exactly what I did. If I follow the classification system 1SEC 2017, if I follow the age distribution of the COMELEC list of registered voters, and if I follow the educational attainment of household heads according to the Philippine Statistics Authority, then there have been, I was able to arrive at some results.
What are these results, Mr. Viloria?
Okay, if I redistribute according to the socioeconomic classes and make some assumption about the vote count between Bongbong and Lenny in those categories, I discovered that very little change there was very little change. From a 32% advantage of Bongbong, it goes down only to 25%. So not much change with respect to socioeconomic classification. With respect to educational attainment, in the sample, in the sample of the 22% did not reach college. But if I look at the Philippine Statistics Authority data on educational attainment, I found out that 30% of the voting age population reached at least college. So there is underrepresentation of those who have higher educational attainment.
So, Mr. Viloria, could this be the first election that surveys could be proven wrong, especially for president?
Well, for president, I think, yes, this might be the first time this would happen in the Philippines. But in other countries, like in the United States, in 2016, Clinton was way ahead in the polls, but Trump won the elections. So I would like to emphasize that polls, although they have good track records, most of them have good track records, they have failures in the past.
What about the results of Google Trends? It's telling us the opposite results of the surveys. Is this to be believed?
Well, for one thing, Google Trends measures something that is different from what Pulse Asia measures. Pulse Asia measures directly what the intention of the voters are if the elections were held today. Google Trends, on the other hand, just look at searches of netizens for particular subjects. And so there are two different things in terms of purpose, in terms of measurement, and in terms of credibility.
Thank you so much for your views on the Pulse survey. Former national statistician Romulo Virola.